Welcome back. Several taxis have been impounded in Cape Town after drivers defied a court order on the first day of a month-long closure of 10 routes. Affected areas include Mfuleni, Khayelitsha, Lwandle and Somerset West. It comes, of course, after at least 6 people were killed and 9 others injured in recent violence between rival associations Cata and Codeta. Western Cape Mobility MEC Isaac Sileku joins us live now for more. MEC, I think first and foremost, why a month-long closure of these routes? 30 days, the impact it's expected to make?
Veronica, thank you very much. You know, when I first published the intent to close some of the routes that you have mentioned, the intent was to close for 90 days. And I had to find a middle ground from the side of government to show that, you know, we really want lasting solutions. And unfortunately, we had several communication, we have several engagements. We just could not come to a decision. So we are left with no option or choice but to close for 30 days instead of 90 days. So I think that's something that we are very considerate from the side of government, and our focus is not on the closure of the routes of lanes, but to find an amicable solution as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, this violence has been ongoing. It's something that has been, essentially plaguing community members for a long time and specifically putting commuters' lives in danger. But some are saying, of course, there will be a difficulty in regards to balancing safety as well as that economic fallout for some of the operators.
No, unfortunately, whenever there's a dispute or impasse in the minibus taxi industry, there's always a risk. There's always the one that would always be left wanting, and there's always economic implications. And hence, from us as department, we said it from the onset, for us to have arrived to this decision, it was not an easy decision. We have to consider everything. And unfortunately, we cannot operate like we've been operating in 1985. We have to change how things are run in the minibus taxi industry, and the safety of our commuters is a priority. And that's why we took that particular decision. Of course, we're also cognizant of the implications of our decision, but we had no other choice but to safeguard our commuters and make sure that we stop the killings in the minibus taxi industry.
Yeah, but of course now this is obviously affecting commuters the most. Many of them have expressed frustration. I understand that the provincial government has mentioned that there will be alternative transport that will be arranged in, in terms of buses as well as trains. But let's just have a listen to really the frustration coming from some of the commuters who say that very little has been done in terms of considering them in regards to this.
And this strike is really affecting us the most, the nurses or the people who are working, and the school children. So please, they must just help us to sort this problem out as soon as possible. And we can't even go to shop to buy food. So we've got children, they need money. We can't get paid without working.
They need to find a solution rather than closing the routes. They need to find a solution, and quickly, because the closing of routes for 30 days is absolutely not the first answer that could come off, because now a lot of people are stranded. The workers, us included, school children, as my colleague has said, are not going to be able to go to school and do tests. We are not going to be able to work. Now there's going to be shortages of staff at work. So it's a triple effect on everything that there's no taxes.
And those are the lived realities of some of those commuters. What do we say then to those concerns that they've raised?
Well, firstly, Veronica, we need to correct one of the commuters. There is no taxi strike in the Western Cape. And that's the first point. And the second point is that certain routes have been closed. And we've been receiving reports on a daily basis. We have not received any report that someone has been late at work, someone was not able to go to school, or someone was not able to get to the shops. That is incorrect. And that is not something that we would take lightly. And I must say, we've made alternative transport arrangements. And I must tell you, the report that we received, everybody that was supposed to get transport was able to get to work and get to school. And we have not received any negative reports during this day. So the commuters are talking about that what this decision that we have taken as government is a harsh decision. But also it's the same commuters, when there are shootings at our taxi ranks and they are caught in the crossfire, are the same people that are saying to us as government, what are you doing about it? So I think the commuters must also give us a benefit of doubt as government and consider us, our efforts, and applaud us for the work that we are doing. Because ultimately, whatever we are doing is to safeguard their lives and their livelihoods. And we would never be a reckless government and allow people to lose their lives and expect us to go as business as usual. It's not acceptable, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that we safeguard the lives of our commuters.
Are we not worried as well, MEC, about a retaliation perhaps from the taxi industry itself? We know that the alternative transport includes buses such as, Golden Arrow. We've seen recently before some of these buses being targeted. Is that not a concern as well for the provincial government?
Of course, it will always be a concern, but we are encouraged by the media statement or media release that were released from Santaco, when they are saying, precisely, and I quote, that they know the decision that was taken by government was a decision to save lives. And when Santaco, who is actually the association for all the affected associations, says that, it's an encouragement from a side of mobility to say that we have taken the right decision. Of course, there will be elements that will use this opportunity to do criminal activities, and we are also going to deal with those elements. But in terms of the risk, that there will always be retaliation. And I think it would be unfair for people to retaliate, whereas we've opened the door more than 10 times to engage with them, to come to a solution. And that's what we're doing as government. That's what we've been saying. But to retaliate is not going to help us. What we are saying, go to the table, let's talk, let's resolve this. Hence, we've opted for 30 days instead of 90 days.
Right.
That should be something that they should appreciate.
And if the members don't come to the table, what do we see as the long-term solution past these 30 days?
No, they need to come to the table. They don't have a choice. If they value the lives of the commuters that sustain their livelihood, then they will come to the table. But if they don't come to the table, then we are left with no choice but to continue closing the roads for another 30 days.
Right. Well, that, of course, is the MEC for Mobility in the Western Cape, Isaac Sileku. They're speaking to us about the troubled Western Cape province in regards to that taxi violence between those rival associations.